Hannah Hamilton's Horrid Hullabaloo by Mary Anna Usler. This series is dedicated to all the wonderful Hewitt girls I was privileged to teach, with a special thanks to Savannah Rosen for her invaluable help. Chapter 5, The Vanishing Ghosts. Hannah had never known any Miss Anna girls. For one thing, most of them lived clear across town on Blueberry Hill. If she and her friends happened to come across a Miss Anna girl at the mall, they were very noticeable, prancing around with the newest sneakers, designing purse dangling from their diamond-clad wrists, clutching the latest phones while waving their manicured nails. They would always frown at Hannah and her friends. For some reason, Miss Anna girls always looked irritated and confrontational, as though they had something to be unhappy about. Well, they weren't going to frown at Hannah now. If she wanted to, she could scare them plenty, and she just might do that. But as Hannah floated over Blueberry Hill, she wondered if she wasn't making a mistake. After all, the ghosts at St. Hedwig were friendly and even had the advantage of an adult ghost to guide them. Well, Hannah could always return there, at least that's what she hoped as she entered the deserted townhouse. Of course, she had no idea where the library was, and as she glided into the vast hall, she thought finding it would not be an easy task. In the center of the lobby, a massive winding staircase stood, and at the top it veered right and left. The lobby itself was impressive, full of bright, cheery colors. Overstuffed pink chairs sat beside sofas dotted with roses. Fresh flowers, white lilies and roses, rested on glass coffee tables. Pinned on the wall were artworks held up by pretty pushpins. Hannah couldn't read the announcements surrounding the pictures. It was too dark. She was a little annoyed that being a ghost didn't give her the privilege of seeing in the dark. She would just have to do some investigating on her own. Mary Lou had said that the dollhouse was in the lower school library, which meant it was probably on the second floor, since little girls had short little legs and would have difficulty climbing steep staircases. Using the banister, she hoisted herself up the stairs. Not that she needed to, but it was the most fun she had since she had fallen down the stairs. And to her shock, when she arrived on the second floor, she saw a figure sitting up on one of the chairs. At first, Hannah couldn't figure out if that someone was alive or dead. She wasn't sure what to do, so she stood stationary, hoping whomever it was didn't notice her. Then she heard a strange noise, like ice being crushed, and a black blob rose and disappeared into the wall. A ghost. And somehow Hannah knew in her very soul, if ghosts had souls, that it wasn't a friendly ghost, which made her very afraid. Maybe she should leave, but the thought of returning to St. Hedwig when she had been so insistent upon leaving made her pause. Perhaps just a quick peek. She soared to the right and saw a large auditorium with cushy seats and a stage to rival Broadway. Small offices dotted the corridor outside. There was a dining room all set up for breakfast, with alabaster tablecloths and glistening silverware and monogrammed ivory plates, cloth napkins rolled up in shiny napkin rings. Hannah couldn't help but compare it to her own school cafeteria, which never looked quite clean, where students threw their trash on the floor and the long tables were sticky with spilt soda and crusted peanut butter, and always had the odor of soggy broccoli. This school smelled entirely different, like jasmine and lemon with a dash of cocoa. She hurtled off to the left, but before she could turn around, a huge gust of wind almost blew her up straight. "Hello, I'm Grace Greco." Hannah couldn't stop staring, and she found herself at a loss for words. At first, Hannah didn't believe that Grace was a ghost. She seemed somehow more defined and pretty, with beautiful long curly hair as black as a Halloween cat. Her skin was mocha-colored, and she had the greenest eyes that Hannah had ever seen. But then again, Grace was dressed in a pair of ivory-colored pajamas and wearing pink pig slippers. "I'm Hannah Hamilton," Hannah said as soon as she found her voice. "Someone told me there was a community of ghosts living in the library." Grace gave a weak chuckle, exposing perfect white teeth like little soldiers lined up to do battle. I hardly think it's a community. It's just Andy and I. Did you, Hannah hesitated. Did you die here? Oh, no. I died in a hospital with an illness I was born with. The doctors told my parents I wouldn't live past the age of 5. But I defied all odds, and I didn't die until I was 13. I went to school here, and I was so happy. Let me show you around. Hannah followed Grace, gliding up the second staircase to a pretty classroom decorated with teapots. She sidled through the door of a small library where plump chairs were arranged in circles and large, colorful pillows rested on the floor. Hannah had never seen so many picture books on shelves and tables, on desks, and on the floor. In the corner of the room stood the dollhouse, almost as tall as Hannah. Hannah flew closer to take in the curved roof, the silver spiral staircase, the little elevator, the delicate antique-like furniture, the canopy beds, mirrored makeup tables, a baby grand piano, even a small sauna. And while Hannah was admiring the dollhouse, she felt a cold presence behind her. She turned around and confronted a boy, whom she guessed was about her age, as skinny as a beanpole, with ash blonde hair that stuck straight up. His bulging brown eyes were angry. I'm Hannah, she extended her ghostly hand. If it's all right, I'd like to live with you. It's not all right, the boy responded in an icy tone, because you did not come alone. What do you mean? You brought an evil spirit with you. Before Hannah could reply, the entire room was illuminated and the chill in the air had turned hot, almost as though the area was on fire. And as Hannah was thinking how to escape, she felt a shock, almost as though she was being electrocuted. And she let out a scream, but no one could hear her because the noise was deafening. Things were flying in the air, books and chairs and laptop computers and candy kisses, shooting out like bullets. A male ghost dressed in a school uniform was enveloped by a fireball, and his screams were hideous as he disappeared into the wall. Suddenly another wall split in half, and another ghost appeared, floating in the air. She was dressed in a blue coat with brown over-the-knee boots, and the coat was stained with blood. Her thin, narrow face was marred by an enormous gash. She started to cackle, and then she was gone, leaving the room in total chaos and smelling like rotten sardines.